Hey there, and I'm so excited today to chat with Tanya Goodall Smith, because she is so amazing. And she is actually one of our speakers for the upcoming Get Good at Business Summit. So excited to have Tanya with us today. I am Taylor Proctor. I am the host of the Get Good at Business Summit. And we'll be speaking all about how to help you get good at business at this summit, all while utilizing experts and the method called I Move. And I Move stands for intuition, marketing, operations, velocity, and execution. So we have over 20 expert speakers, all in these areas of intuition, highlighting marketing, operations, strategic velocity, as well as execution. So we're going to have a great lineup of speakers. And Tanya is one of our very first speakers. She is a branding expert, the founder of Work Story Creative, and a certified personal branding strategist for Brand Builders Group. She's worked with hundreds of international personal fashion and tech brands, including Guess, HP, Microsoft, Gary John Bishop, and the Life Coach School, to develop and improve their brand assets. She now does the same for personal brands and micro businesses. She served on the board of the National Association for Women Business Owners and was a finalist in Maria Sharapova's Women's Entrepreneur Program. She has a degree in visual communications from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, and her expertise has been featured in dozens of leading industry publications around the globe. And as she's going to be helping us at the Get Good at Business Summit, she's going to be teaching all about the power of personal branding, how to leverage influence and impact for business growth. So, Tanya, we are so excited that you're here with us today.
I'm excited to be here too.
So tell us a little bit about your journey and your experience with personal branding. And then if you have a success story that you would love to share with us about how personal branding has increased business growth, whether for you or for your clients, we would love to hear it.
Sure. Yeah. So I started out working for advertising agencies and, like mentioned in my bio, for pretty big companies helping with their branding and graphic design, marketing, that kind of thing. And then eventually I started my own business, and I really wanted to work with smaller businesses because I just didn't feel like I was like this tiny little shrimp in this big sea of this, retail machine. And I wanted to make more of a personal impact with small business owners and people that I interacted with face to face. And we had moved from Seattle to Spokane, which is on the other side of the state. And I didn't know anyone. And so I was like, okay, I got to start meeting people. I'm an introvert. I didn't want to leave my basement. But I learned to start meeting people, and that was 15 years ago or so, when personal branding was starting to become kind of a buzzword. And I just decided I'm going to apply all of these rules of branding I know for these big corporations to myself and become known as the person who helps you with your branding and with your branding photography. That's something I specialize in. And so from there, I just started putting myself out there. I have a signature color, which is something brands use. I started speaking, just started doing all of these things to become known as the person for what I specialize in. And so now I help other people do that. And I feel like I'm a success story. And so I can help people with that. And I use my influence to help my local people succeed. And now I also work with people not just in Spokane on their branding. And it's really exciting. And I think everyone should have a personal brand if you're in business, because it's people want to work with people, right, that they know and trust, and especially with social media and that kind of thing.
So if you wouldn't mind, I would love for if we could break down like the difference between a personal brand and a business brand, and not necessarily the how, but your title of your presentation for the Get Good at Business Summit is the power of personal branding, leveraging it for influence and impact for business growth. So would you mind sharing kind of like the difference between the two and how one supports the other?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of corporations have personal brands that are kind of the face of their corporation, right? So, I mean, there's like Oprah, Richard Branson, like they have these giant companies, but they still are putting themselves out there as a person that people get to know. And so the difference between those two, well, there's several, but number one, it's a person, right, that we are thinking of. So if you think of McDonald's or something, you're going to think of the golden arches, the drive-through, like the food, right? But if we think of one of those kind of celebrity brands like Oprah, we think of her face, right? We're not really thinking of a product or anything like that. It's the person. And so those are kind of the two differences. A lot of people ask, do I need a logo as a personal brand? And I mean, it's nice to have one for your business, but you don't necessarily need one representing you. It's going to be more of your face telling your story that you want people to recognize. And then also usually a personal brand, you're going to be sharing your experience, your expertise, your pain that you overcame or something, right? Where you're teaching people, you're showing things about your life, not necessarily selling a product. Or I mean, usually you're selling something, right? That's the whole point of the brand, but you're more selling yourself as someone that people would trust and want to follow and think are, for some reason you've got something to offer them as yourself, as your person. So those are a couple.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's some more. There's a lot, but
I think that's so amazing though, because even with the McDonald's example, uh, and I guess you could consider it more of a mascot, but if you thought of a personality that represented McDonald's, it's Ronald McDonald.
right. But still, right, he's still a mascot. He's not a person. I'm not like waking up and being like, oh, I wonder what Ronald McDonald is wearing today, right? Like I want
Right.
to go find what outfit he's wearing so I can buy it myself.
So I think that's a good delineation, right? Personal branding is personal, like you said, sharing your stories, your expertise, things that may not be fully related to business,
Right.
whereas it's not you becoming the mascot for your business.
Yeah, it could be totally separate, right? Like I was saying, Richard Branson is the founder of Virgin, but his personal brand is totally different, right? Like where it's separate from the business, but also related to it. So, and I encourage my clients, like a lot of them are psychologists or coaches and stuff, they have a business name, right? Like the emotions coach or something. That's one of my clients. But she also has her own personal brand that is her name that she's kind of building alongside of it. And that's how mine is. Work Story Creative is my business, but I also have people who they follow me as my name and when people are like, who's a graphic designer and photographer, and they'll tag me on social media, and they know the name of my business too, because I think that's important, but they're getting to know me more and I'm connected with that. So
I love that. And in your presentation description, you've listed, without a solid personal brand, you're essentially waving goodbye to potential business, underselling your value, and attracting clients who just don't vibe with your essence. And I love this. You said it's like hosting a party and realizing you invited all the wrong guests. The frustration of an underperforming website or feeling like your marketing efforts are just echoes in the void can be overwhelming. So in your presentation, you're going to be teaching us all about the power of the personal brand and specifically the how to leverage your influence and your impact for business growth. So Tanya, thank you so much for hopping on today and sharing your success story with building your personal brand and for being one of our expert speakers. If you liked this interview and you're like, wow, I totally want to learn more about personal branding and how to leverage it to get that influence, to get that impact, to get that business growth, to get good at business, I want to encourage you to go to go.getgoodatbusiness.com/summit. Our summit is March 15th and 16th, so coming up here soon, about 18 days away, I believe. We're running the event from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And like I said, not only do we have Tanya as an amazing and expert speaker, we also have 19 other expert speakers, all there designed and designating their time to help you get good at business. But if you want a free ticket to this summit, you can type in the code Tanya, Tanya, that's Tanya's first name, to get your free ticket and to make sure that you get to see her presentation on the power of personal branding. So Tanya, thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for sharing your insights, your tips, your expertise about personal branding, and super looking forward to your presentation at the Get Good at Business Summit.
you're welcome. I'm excited too.